Going live, going live. You're live, apparently. Hello. I lied. I mean, I didn't know that I was lying until about 10 minutes ago. But when Caradog hadn't showed up, I jumped on Discord and was just like, hey, are you back this week? I thought you were back this week. To which Caradog replied, no, I'm away for another week. And I'm like, okay. No problem, see you soon. So, yes. So, no, there is still no Caradog. We are into week 3 of Graham tries desperately to solo a podcast. So, yes. Anyway, hello, everyone. How are we doing? Clickbait. The clickbait is real. I deceived you all. Buy my new cryptocurrency. Also, technically, I changed the title before I went live. It's not my fault that you guys didn't check. So. Also, I'm going to immediately take off my jumper because I'm really hot. Hold on. Oh no. There we go. And I'm going to lock the front door as well. If Caradog can't be asked to be here, then I'm not going to leave the door open. Alright, anyway. Right, let's make the chat a little bit bigger so I can actually read it. Nice. The deprivation is real. It's true. It's true. Good. Anyway, right. Don't forget the phone. It's true. The phone is... Oh, well, no, I still haven't sorted it. I was about to say the phone is automatic because now I've got voice. But I haven't sorted that out and I told you about it last time. If the phone goes off, I will simply silence it. Right. When am I going to tidy up my orderly mess? I'm working on it. The problem is that the area behind the camera, this is like the hardest area to tidy up, if I'm honest. I actually spent all afternoon tidying up the cardboard and the podcast desk, thinking that that was going to be in use today. So, like, ironically, hold on, let's see if I can I... if I do that, and then that might work. Yeah, there we go. See, I tidied up the podcast desk. I've put some laptops back over there now. The podcast desk was covered in laptops, like it just stacked around. I tidied all of those up, so when Caradog showed up, I'd be like, look, it's nice and tidy. And it turned out that was a complete waste of time. So, you know, that's cool. But no matter. So, yes, I don't even need it now. Anyway, but yes, all of the e-waste and stuff, yeah, difficult to deal with. I'm working on it. If anyone wants to come and take away my e-waste, unironically, hit me up. I need someone who will show up in a van and just cart away all of my e-waste, like professional level stuff. And when I say, if anyone wants to do this, hit me up. Does anyone want to do it for free? Hit me up. Because I don't want to pay. And that's why I still have it. Because I'm trying to find a way of doing it that doesn't involve paying. Right. What interesting non-fix have you had this week? Nothing super interesting. I've had a couple of non-fixes. It's been a month of just nonsense. I was doing a battery replacement on a MacBook yesterday, and the replacement battery was faulty. So that was just another one of those, like, you put in all the work, and then you turn it on, it doesn't work, and then you do some testing, and it turns out that the battery is crap, and you're like, now I have to send this battery back and order another one, and then do the job again, and whatever. So yes. The police investigation on Caradog is dragging now into 3 weeks. Technically 4, because I skipped a week. No, it is 3, actually, you're right. The pile with the motherboard placed on top of it looks professional? Probably. Whichever one that is, there's a lot of it. Anyway. You was promised 2 guys. You were lied to, I'm sorry. Right. Caradog arrested for joyriding an F1 car in Monaco. He wishes. Right. Well, what I am going to look at today instead is I've got a pack of SlimeVR trackers that have come back in for warranty, and these ones apparently have not gone well and have just failed catastrophically. So I'm going to unpack these and I'm going to go through and figure out what the hell happened to them all. Annoyingly, I've forgotten all of my spare parts, so my trend of wanting to fix bits and pieces on this stream and then just not having what I need continues. Frustratingly, I finished off that Marley speaker earlier on today, and had I known I'd be soloing, I would have waited to do it on stream, but nah, whatever. Classic case as well is I did the speaker earlier on this morning thinking, well, I'll do it this morning so the customer can come and get it today. So I do that. I call the customer and they're like, oh yeah, I'll come and get it in the next couple of weeks. I'm just like, what? The next couple of weeks? And in the heat of the moment, I was just like, okay, fine. Whereas the answer I was actually looking for was like, no, can you get someone to come and pick it up because I want to get paid? You know, so thanks. But whatever. It wasn't a huge job, so fine. Okay. Okay. I'm going to open this bag and just check if there's any customer information in it. And then I'll show you what I've got and we'll start having a look at these. My objective today, I'd love to fix them, but like I said, I left all of my spare parts at home because I'd moved all of my SlimeVR stuff to my home lab, which ended up being a bit of a mistake, but whatever. Oh boy. Okay. All right. That's a hot mess. However, there's no customer data in there, so I'm just gonna... I'd be a little bit mad about the packaging, but just knowing what had happened with these, I'm just like, okay, fine. Oh, he didn't ship any of the batteries. Oh, pain. Okay. Huh. Oh, Okay, right, let's get the camera on so I can actually look at this and figure out what the hell I'm looking at. Right. There is a horrid smell emanating from all of this. That's why I'm suddenly perplexed. Okay, let's go to the main cam. Let's see. Are we on main? Yes, we are. Good. Right, let's pitch that way. Straighten. One more, and then let's just punch down to 2x, I guess. Okay, so this is a completely broken set of SlimeVR trackers. And right, so these were shipped. These were shipped to New Zealand. This was the last set that I made that I shipped internationally because after I did this set, after I did this set and then there were problems with them, I was like, I'm done doing international sales on these sets. It's too much of a ball ache because if there are any problems with them, it costs a fortune and takes ages to ship them back. So I was like, no, UK only, friends only at this point. And this was kind of, I think this was the set that broke me. You know, I got these ones across the line, but the fact that these ones went so spectacularly wrong was why I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. It's just not worth the trouble anymore. I enjoyed doing it as a project, but it was just turning into too much trouble. So basically, most of apparently there was major issues, and like some of them were smoking and stuff like that. And I'm like, what on earth happened? Like, smoking means like critical battery failure and stuff like that. And I was really worried. I was like, God, what have I done? However, just like, but the reason why I've sort of gone very stop-start is just, I've just opened these up and looking at the state of some of them, I'm just like, I'm not sure that this was entirely my fault. Because, like, get a load of this, man. It's rusty, and there's corrosion all over it. Like, just straight away, I'm just like... Because, like, modern batteries don't leak fluid. So... And this was in a sealed packet. And there's no moisture in here. So, like, it's not that the packet got drowned. So straight away, I'm just like, I have a suspicion that this wasn't manufacturer failure. So, yeah. So that's why I'm suddenly going, oh, this isn't at all what I expected. I thought that just I'd done a bit of a rough job on assembly and there'd just been some short circuits, but that's not what this looks like to me. Yeah, because like this one is very clearly liquid damaged, demonstrably liquid damaged. So, like, what the hell? What happened to these? Okay, right, fine. It doesn't matter. Because like it doesn't matter because the answer remains the same. Is I want to try and remanufacture these. So the main bit that I'm interested in is I need to figure out what works and what doesn't work, what bits are reusable. I've got lots of spares for trackers still, but the main bit that is super important to me is the IMU. So firstly, let me start from the beginning for people who don't know what the hell these things are. These are SlimeVR body trackers. So if you're playing some VR games like VR Chat or Beat Saber or something like that, you strap these all across your body. So you strap them on your legs, ankles, chest, hip, and they have accelerometers in them, so the game can measure where your body parts are moving, and that means that the game can actually track all of your limbs and body position instead of just your head position. Very cool. So I was building sets of these for friends and friends of friends, and they're not expensive. The parts for them are not expensive. However, the IMU, which is basically the accelerometer, that's this module here, these are hard to get hold of. It's hard to find good ones in stock. I'm not sure what the situation with them is right now, but when I said to the customer, you need to send these back to me because I need the IMUs. Otherwise, I would have just sent them another set. At the time, it was a pain in the ass to get hold of them. So basically, I need the IMUs to still work, but I think what we're going to do, I think my first thing is just to try and clean these up and establish what on these still works. So this should be a set of 8, so I'm just going to arrange these all into something that makes sense. Okay, right. 8 trackers. I have another tracker here. This one is built slightly differently. These ones were built surface mount. This one is the same design, but it's not surface mount. So I have a reference one here to test with. Right, okay. I'm going to go over the chat again. Yes, the title was updated. I thought Caradog was back, but he's not. So yes. So yeah, something was spilled on it, agreed. Corrosion reminds you of the repairs you see on Learn Electronics Repair. Seaside corrosion from water. Yeah, I mean, that's just general liquid damage. A drink got spilled on that, and it wasn't cleaned up. So yeah, that's going to happen, I guess. Right. Okay, so what I need to do then, I need to go through and test these and find out what's going on with them. So I think I'm going to just give them all a bit of brushy. I'm going to remove all of the battery wires first, I think, and just get back down to bare PCBs. Then I need to power these up one by one and figure out what state they're in. So let's do that. Did the customer use it in the shower? God, I hope not. Okay, right. Do I have Slime installed on this computer? I do. Awesome. Update available. We don't need that right now. We don't need the tracking checklist. Okay, I'm going to get a window capture ready so we can see if these things power up. Window capture. Create new. Grab SlimeVR. Bam. Right, and let's put that there. Right, so this is the SlimeVR software. So when some trackers are switched on, they will appear here. I'm going to quickly test that now by plugging in our tracker. I'm just going to grab a power bank so I can power these things up. I kind of hoped there would be at least one battery here. Oh, I've probably got a battery. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't need a battery. I'm going to just run them from a power bank. Right, let's do the test one first and see if this does something. This one's going to be, it's going to need to be connected anyway. Yeah, sorry, I'm going a mile a minute while I figure out what I'm actually doing here because this was, I wasn't anticipating doing these on this stream, but when Caradog wasn't here, I was like, oh, I guess I'll do that. Right, I shall plug them into the PC instead. So, right, we're going to do a control test. So I'll plug in a known good. And just make sure that that is paired to Wi-Fi. Right, connect to Wi-Fi. Oh, nice, it doesn't come up with that on screen. That's good. Right, implement IT. Public. Right, could not get logs from the tracker. I see, that's a good start. This thing might need a firmware update. We're just going to test one and just make sure that my setup works, and then we can go from there. Hello, Sai. Welcome back. Don't think VR chatters use showers. How dare you? I did not replace other parts on the PC from last week's video because at this point I've no reason to. It is entirely likely, like it is quite possible to just have two bad graphics cards because they were both used second-hand graphics cards. A lot of people are just like, oh, you should have replaced that power supply. There's no reason to believe that the power supply is blowing up graphics cards at this point. So yeah. But yes, I was happy with the repair on that though, yeah. Okay, right, hang on a sec. Apparently I'm set to a public network, so I'm just going to quickly fix that. Oh, is that going to ruin the thing? Can I change network profiles without screwing the stream? All right, here goes nothing. Please don't break. Okay, right. Chat, say words if you can still hear me. I think there was a stutter, but it's still good. What was the fault? What was the fault on the first GPU? Words, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Good. The fault on the first GPU, that one, we did that on stream a couple of weeks ago. It was the last one that Caradog was here for. It was the Radeon 6800, and it was weird no-post issues, if my memory serves me. So yeah. Good. Right, where was I? Okay, so I need this thing to work. Let's try that again. So I'm going to unplug and replug this thing. Oh, this window capture just is not working in the slightest. I'm going to try it again. Oh, balls. That sucks. Okay, fine. Capture method. What about that? Okay, there we go. Right. There we go. Now it's working. Right, okay, this tracker doesn't work, so that's cool, I guess. Let's blast some firmware onto it and see what happens. Alright, It's been a hot man. I am so out of practice with these. WeMOS D1 Mini, that's what I've got. Latest firmware. Configure your board. This should be all defaults. I guess it auto detects the IMU these days. Everything should be at defaults because I built them based on stock. And we're going to you were going to use a USB. Detected serial device. Oh, okay, that's what's going on. I've got other USB serial devices connected, so that might be why it was having hissy fits. Whatever, I'll flash it anyway. Syncing with the MCU. Okay. Didn't know the human body have 2 elbows. Yeah, the extra bit on the end you're seeing is the wrist, because the wrist counts as a limb. Can you do a white build under a $1,000 now? I mean, you can. It just depends on what graphics card you put in it and how much memory you put in it. I just sold a white build for $1,000 with 16 gigs of RAM and a 6800. Could not set the Wi-Fi credentials. Okay, retry. Between eBay and AliExpress, better start using a pencil and paper book. I don't understand. Old password in the firmware saved? Maybe. I might have just typed it in wrong as well. I'm just going to double check that I actually just set the correct SSID as well. I've got me thinking now, is it Adamant Space IT or Adamant IT? Yeah, it is Adamant Space IT. Could not set the Wi-Fi credentials. All right, well, I'll try again. I tell you what I'll do. Okay, that's fine. We'll exit that. It has been flashed, so let's do this again. Connect to Wi-Fi. Right. Let's try something else instead. That should be a 2.4 network. I have suspicion that it's just getting confused as to whether it should be connecting to which band it should connect on. Because these microcontrollers are 2.4 only. There it goes. All right, there we go. Right. Okay, that's more like it. We have a control tracker that is working. So, all right, I've connected all my trackers. Show me the preview. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, we now have a tracker that is detecting direction. And just to make sure it's actually working over Wi-Fi as well, I'll now plug it into its battery charger instead of directly into the microcontroller. And it should work the same way. Wait for it to connect again. There it goes. Cool. Okay, right, the system works. So this is my control one. This one works, so I can use this to take measurements to determine what, if any, of this is junk. So that works. Right, let's make a start on these busted app ones and see what we can do. So I'm going to hide the software for a minute, and we'll start going through all of these. Yeah. A lot of modern devices now will auto-select bands properly, but now and then you do get devices that can't auto-select which band they connect to, and I guess just these little microcontrollers are one of them. This is why I always make sure I've got a SSID that has single band set on it. So if I encounter that, I can do something about it. Right, so this one is okay. There's flux residue on it that I didn't clean up very well. However, visually, it looks okay. So I'm going to desolder the battery connectors, plug it in, and we'll just see if it works. Adam Space and it. Or we could just go the whole way and just say a damn tit. Whoop. be gone. There we go. Right, we'll just take off those wires. I think I remember now when the client said they needed to send them back, because each one has its own battery. Their post office was just like, you're sending 8 batteries, so you have to pay the surcharge for 8 batteries. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And in the end, I think I just said to them, just cut the batteries out and send them without the batteries. Because the batteries are an expensive component, but in the pantheon of I'm going to lose money on this anyway, let's just get the job done, you know. How much were the MOSFETs? I think the MOSFETs, I think it ended up being like a couple of pound each or something like that, which is not exactly cheap, but in the scheme of fixing a graphics card, a couple of pound in parts is not a big deal. And spare ones from an old broken GPU. If you found matching ones, absolutely. You need to find something that was sort of approximately the same specification. And considering I'm new to doing MOSFET replacement, I'm generally going to stick to trying to find an exact match just for safety. So yeah. Okay, right, that's removed. Let's plug this in and see what it does. So if I plug this, let's see, we need to connect it to Wi-Fi. So let's start on, oh, it's got Type-C connectors on it anyway. So I will connect that to the microcontroller. Right, connect to Wi-Fi, submit. Okay. Don't care. Okay, right, so it physically works. That's cool. So now I've sent it the Wi-Fi data. I'll plug into its to the charger board and check if the charger board works. Oh, helps if I turn it on. There we go. The charger board had power, but I've still got to flick the power switch for power to get routed to the microcontroller. There we go. Okay, good. Okay, so that one works, and visually it looks okay. I'd need to plug a battery in to see if it charges the battery properly, but this one doesn't have any visible issues with it, so I'm willing to bet that this one is just completely fine. So I'm going to put that in a good pile. Actually, no, we'll do some extra measurements on it as well, because there's something else I want to check. Let's get rid of that again. For a multi-phase buck converter, you've got to use exactly the same part number to avoid unbalance between phases. That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I certainly would not risk it. I'm sure there are some people that have found things that work, but for how long, who knows? Right, I now want to check for issues. Do I have a multimeter cam set up here? I do. I've got some kind of multimeter cam. That'll do. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to put it on the bench. I'm considering doing this for mainline videos, just putting the multimeter on the bench next to me again, just because it's easier than having a dedicated camera for it. But what if I've got something here, you know? I don't know, whatever. Right, now what I want to do, the charger board, which is this module here, this is a TP4056, if my memory serves me. So it charges the battery and provides it provides a regulated power output to the battery, and then power goes to the rest of the system through the switch. These are a very common failure point. These things die all the time, but they cost like 20p, so who cares? I'm just going to take some quick resistances on a known good, because if my memory serves me, the last time I saw issues with it, I was able to detect it just by measuring resistances. So B minus to B plus, 15 megohms. B minus to ground, 16 megohms. And then B plus to positive should be straight through, I think. Oh, interesting. That is regulated. I thought it wasn't. I thought that was a straight through. Okay. Okay, it doesn't matter anyway. Anyway, about 15 megohms across it. If we see one where there's like 2k ohms or something like that, that's what I'm looking for as a faulty condition. So I'm going to quickly check this one just to see if we get similar readings. See, that one's drastically different. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to take this with a pinch of salt. I might be talking out my ass here. I think I'll need to do battery testing on them anyway. For now, I'm just going to check if they power on and work. Start with the simple stuff. Okay. Right. No Carrot Dog again. No, I got it wrong. He was still on holiday. I thought he was back this week, but apparently it's next week he's back. Right, next one. Again, flux residue on it because I obviously was super lazy when I built these and didn't clean up my flux residue. But the port's a little bit grubby, but it looks okay. Let's see if it works. Let's keep testing. Boo-doo. Connect to Wi-Fi. Good. And our survey says looks pretty good. And test the charger module. All right. Hello, Paige. How goes? Keep meaning to pick up a set of these. I need to carry on making them. I kind of fell off the bandwagon on these. This is a warranty set that's come back in that is somewhat completely trashed, which originally I thought was manufacturing defects when I was talking to the client. However, based on the condition of some of these circuit boards, I don't think it's manufacturer defect. So yeah, I'm not super happy about that, but however, I'm just gonna make good on them. Have I just torn a pad? No, the solder just came off in a very particular pattern. Cool. Right, okay, that one works. Let's keep cracking through these then. Next one. Wire warranty then. For the sake of just one set, I can't be bothered to have an argument over it. One of the original things was I wanted to be one of the few slime sellers that wasn't a cowboy. And also just there is sufficient anxiety in my mind that there could have been issues with some of them. Just from, you know, like I was testing a different case for this set and stuff like that. So when there were problems with it, I was like, the case set is bad and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to be like, no, whatever. I'll just change them out. It's not going to break my world. Yeah, again, just the port is kind of grubby on this one, but it looks okay. Let's remove the wires, plug it in and test it. Terrible. Bill them 1 million. Maybe I'll do that. How old are they? Less than a year, I think. Yeah, definitely less than a year. So yeah. Let's see. You're doing good. Pleased with some of the work you're putting out. Yeah, I've seen you've been back on the wagon, and it's good to see you arting again. Glad that you've managed to break some of the burnout. Right. Okay. I should probably go through and update the firmware on these while I'm working on them. I might quickly do that on the ones that I've done. Just update the firmware as I go, just so I know they're all on latest firmware. Product research return. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually, Lead Farmer. Like, in this instance, I think... let's bring that back up. I'm just going to rearrange... I'm going to rearrange this. Let's put that there. And if I do that, Control, nope. Shift, nope. Damn it. Reset transform. Then Alt. That's the one I'm looking for. There we go. Lock. There we go. I can just leave Slime on the side there now. Okay, right. Yeah, where was I? Product research return. Yes, product research return, where just like it's not, you know, like it might be you, it might be the customer, but you want to know what went wrong. So the next time there are issues with these, I'm better informed to make an educated guess as to if it's the customer's fault or not. Because like when I was developing, you know, when I was building these and working and building sets for friends, a lot of people had trouble getting started, and it really put a lot of doubt in my brain, which slowed me down a lot. I was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because supporting them is just so much work. And it turned out that 9 out of 10 cases, it was just a skill issue of just people just not using them correctly, because calibration and stuff is awkward. There is a learning curve to using full body tracking. Let's do the firmware update while we're here. So yeah, that was the concern. Right. Okay, that is functional. Firmware update. Let's see, board type. This is a D1 Mini ESP 702. Default settings. Looks good. USB updates only, please. Do the thing. Next step. All right. So I'm gonna just quickly go back across the 3 I've done and just update, make sure the firmware is up to date on them. The other annoying thing is though, just like these trackers in general are just out of vogue now. It's all about it's now all about small slimes, which was the last set that I built for myself that I didn't actually use. Because my existing set was just working well for me, and every time I go to use my full body tracking, instead of being like I should get my small slimes calibrated, I keep going, or I could just put on my set that already works. Do not unplug. Did I finish my coffee? I did. I'm going to get a cider while I do this, because I fancy a drink. Rare Saturday afternoon where I'm not so hungover that I don't want to have any alcohol. Flash more. Next. Be right back. I'm feeling classy today, so I've got a can of Stowford Press. That was a lot louder than I intended it to be, sorry. Cracking open a cold one with the boys. Alright, there we go. Okay. Right, next one. Right, this one's a bit gross. Sniff test. Yeah, this is one of the ones that actually smells horrible. I don't know what has happened to this one. However, oh man, am I going to get the microscope out? Yeah, you know what? Let's make a show of it at least. Hold on, let me plug in the microscope. How does one get a job with you? I want to drink on the job. You can drink on the job, Paige. We both know this. It's within your power. Okay. HDMI capture. There we go. Gross. Okay, yeah, so... yeah, it's pretty grim. So, like, one more time, we're all in agreement here that a modern LiPo battery, there's no way that a leaking LiPo battery would do damage like that. Is there? That has to be liquid damage. Like, there's flux residue on here. Like, this is flux residue. This is flux residue. But, like, there's no planet where this isn't just negligence. TP4056 blown up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. That has actually exploded, hasn't it? I think. Oh, yeah, yeah. That must have gone nuclear. Yeah, okay. That one's mega kill. So this one, we just want to find out what's salvageable from this. So, yeah. Refocus again. Okay. Stop, stop. It's already dead. I mean, I can try. You should try. I want to know how that goes. That sounds entertaining. Hey, PL Daniels. How goes? Long time no speak. Which is my fault more than yours. How's it been going? 8005 also got hit. $8,005. Oh, 8205. What part is 8205? I don't know. Anyway, right. Let's just quickly take some measurements on this, because I'm just curious as to what readings we get. Like I said, I'm just interested in just learning what characteristics we get while we're here. So firstly, the battery terminals. Yeah, there's a bunch of corrosion there, but they're not shorted. Oh, right from the burn MOSFET. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that whole module will get replaced anyway. We'll just, the entire module, the TP4056 module, is 20 pence. So you just replace the whole thing. So if any part of it is damaged, you just bin it off, basically. All right, on the TP4056. Yeah, there's high resistance across there, but I don't know what to make of that. Right, okay. We'll take that module off. Okay, so we're going to take off the wires, take off the charger module, and then we'll see, and I'll give the rest of it some brushy and see if it works. I'm going to take that switch off as well, and we'll put a different switch on it. We'll test if it works first, just because I guess I could bridge out the power switch for the time being. But yeah, okay. Let's take that board off. Lick test. No. No. Not a lot of sleep, but plenty of work being done. Well, that's good at least. I think the other question as well is just if this board is still good. I'm going to need to flow some fresh solder to get all that moving. Lick test for science. No. Like, unironically, there's a really nasty smell coming from some of these. I don't know what the hell the smell is, but it's nasty. Oh, I think that pad is just gone. Okay. Oh. Ugh. Every now and then I just get a whiff of it, and it's... Ugh. I don't know how to describe the smell, but it's an awful, awful smell. How about putting this one aside and checking the others? Maybe, yeah, I guess. I kind of just wanted to do some work, but you're right. All right, Mr. Sensible, let's get the easy ones out of the way first. Also, just because immediately I'm just like, oh, I heated it up and the smell was just, oh, it's that bad. I don't know what happened here. Right, here's another one that is also in awful condition, so I'll just immediately put this one to one side as well. No prizes there. This one is slightly rough, but probably salvageable. I'll just quickly pop the wires off of that, and we'll just quickly test this one. Ugh. Let's just flash this one, and that'll probably bash Wi-Fi over to it as well. You should send me one of the latest ring lights. The split and tilt would be good. Split and tilt? Oh, I didn't know anything about... I will level with you. I've not been keeping track with the product development, so I was not aware that there was a like split and tilt new fancy feature. Okay, right. Flash complete. Is that on? Yeah, that is tracking. Right, let's see if the TP4056 works. That would be a no. Okay, so when we plug this one in, we're just getting a solid red light, which is an error condition. If we plug in a known good, this is the behavior we should get. So the blue means it has power, and the red LED is flashing because there's no battery connected, so it keeps flip-flopping between charging and not charging. So yeah, and again, if we put a slight load on it, we get a little bit of a flicker from it. That's what we're expecting to see. Whereas with this one, when I plug that in, oh, interesting, now it's working. Yeah, but if I turn the switch on, then it cuts out. So yeah, something's up with that one. Oh, it's not happy. It's not supposed to do that. So yeah, and also, we had a flash from the micro just then, but yeah, let's. Yeah, nope, stop that. That's got problems. I think the microcontroller on it works, but it looks like the charger board is kill. Next. Okay, right. It's firmware. I wish I didn't have to select the firmware every single time. They used to have the online flasher for doing this, and whereas now it's all just rolled into the software, which is arguably better. It's a better experience, but it's not so. It's better for end users. It's not so good for builders. But like, if you're pro at this, then you should be doing this in Visual Studio anyway. So whatever. How much is international posting from New Zealand to from UK? Quite a lot. Yeah, it was like 30 or 40 quid or something like that. It was something fairly outrageous. But the customer kind of twisted my arm into it a little bit, because when they said, "Oh, New Zealand," I was like, maybe find someone a bit closer. There's got to be like some Aussie builders or somewhere like that who are a lot closer. But I'd done a set for one of their friends, and they were just like, "Oh, please." I'm just like, okay. So yeah, pretty ironic that this ended up being the mega bad set. Right, home tracker. All right, that works. Oop. Use the mini hot plate for a reflow. You can, but it doesn't work very well in my experience. Power on. I've tried doing that before and just found it was easier to just use the hot air. Must have been more than value of the slimes. It depends on how you measure it. Cool. The going rate for a set of for a set of 8 trackers like this is somewhere around sort of £240 to £250. So yeah, it depends. This one has ended up being just not worth the money in the slightest, but like I said, it was kind of an exception. And also that price does include like some labor charge. I wasn't making a lot of money on these. I just wanted to make a little bit of money on the side. That's a little bit of hot glue, so that's fine. Okay, this one works. Let's put let's just take off the battery wire. Okay, right, last one. Visual inspection. Little bit of grot, but a little bit of corrosion there, but nothing serious. Yeah, I have a suspicion that the entire set had a spill at some point. Like the whole set of trackers was sitting on a desk, and a drink was spilled on the desk, and just like the whole lot got hit, and some got hit worse than others. That's what I think might have happened here. You know, I'm not gonna like I said, I'm not gonna make accusations, and I'm not gonna confront the client or anything, but I don't believe that these failed of their own accord. The symptoms just don't line up with that, you know. Also, especially just that this hasn't happened to any of the others that I built either. Stay classy, chat. Yeah. All right. Did I just decide that this one was fine? I've lost track of whether I did this one or not. I'll quickly plug it in and just see if it connects. Oh, helps if I power it on. No, I haven't done this one yet. This is the last one. Okay, right. Firmware. D1 Mini 072. Next. Looks good. USB update only. Comfort. Go. Applying the update. Update complete. All right, and that works. Test the charger board. Looking good. All right. Okay. Whoop. Groovy. All right. That one is also good. I'll give them all a clean up, and I might just sort of go over and reflow a bunch of the joins on them, but they function. Let's get them all to the functional stage. Okay, right. Let's have a look at these nasty ones that are busted. So this one had a dead charger module on it, so let's rip that off. I am going to grab my... I'm going to get my bench vise and vise this up. $342 tickets. Rad. £20 booking fees. God. Terrible. It's all a big racket. There we go. The good news is, so far, it looks like we haven't had any dead IMUs. Like I said, this is the guy that I'm worried about. This guy is really hard to find replacements for. So I really don't want any of those to be dead. Okay, I am going to get my hot air station with a nozzle on it. Looks good. let's take this guy off. Just going to gently just heat up each corner in turn. Oh, damn it. Port's coming off. Ugh, bad smells, bad smells. I might be better off doing this with no nozzle. Yeah, no nozzle. Hold on. Tries to remove the nozzle while it's running. Ah! Oh god, destroying it. I did have removing these down to a fine art. Oops, there we go. I just ejected that directly into my jumper at incredible high speed. Right, obliterated. Okay, so I'm going to run the soldering irons across all these joints and just clean this up a little bit now. Like I said, I've forgotten all of my spare parts, but... Yeah, we'll clean it up. Okay. Solder. Just going to clean up any nasty joins I can see. How far in can I lean? Really far. Okay, that's good. Right, and I'm going to wick these ones down, and then I'm just going to actually physically clean the board. Where's my wick? There it is. Where is my flux? I had it earlier on. There it is. Where did you get the little vise for soldering boards? So originally I bought one like this from Aldi. And it broke at some point, and I was like, that was really good. I want one just like it. And I think I just went searching on like eBay for just bench vise or something like that, mini bench vise. Yeah, I just ended up finding another one of the same design. So if you search eBay or AliExpress probably for like mini bench vise and just keep browsing, and you'll come across one. It's really good. I get on with this one a lot. It's not flat, so you can't fit it under a microscope. But the fact that it raises stuff up is quite good for soldering because it means you can get your hands around things. And yeah, this is just extremely versatile, I find. All right. Whoops. Let's give that a good clean. And I shall attack it with a Q-tip. Just want to try and get these, like, stains off of it. I don't need to, it's just make it look visually a little bit nicer. Alright. Alright, that's a huge improvement over where it was before. And let's just get the bottom side as well. Right. Okay. Going a little bit overkill here, but I just want to try and clean these up so they look a bit nicer. If we're remanufacturing these, then the least I can do is actually, like, clean the flux off them. Should have done that last time. Feel a bit bad about that. Okay. That switch is a bit clunking, but probably a good thing. I'm just going to check that that switch actually works. These switches are really heat sensitive, so that the switch might not have appreciated getting blasted by hot air. So it might end up getting replaced, but we'll find out. Alright, we should find... Yeah. Nope. The negative is switched on these, I thought. Oh yeah, am I going mad? Which side is positive on these? Yeah, negative is on the right, that's what I thought. Oh no, unless this particular board does the other side. Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. Okay, I'm an idiot. I'm measuring the wrong place. Right. That's more like it. Right, off. On. Yeah, okay, that switch is fine. Cool. Right, that guy just needs a new charge board and it'll be fine. So that one was the easy one, which just had a bad charging module on it. So put a new charge module on that and it'll be ready to go. Let's grab one of the mega gnarly ones. Right, so this one, I'm going to start by just physically cleaning the darn thing. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to vice this up and I'm going to drown it in multiple fluids and just scrub it clean. I'm going to start with glass cleaner on this, just to get rid of muck. And then I'll give it a second pass with isopropyl. Oh, I can smell nasty things again. Blow under the blue PCB. Are you talking about that bit there where my middle fingernail is? Yeah, it's a bit corroded. Let me quickly scrub this one and I'll have a second look. Okay. and alcohol. Right, going to reflow a couple of these. What does the bottom look like? Yeah, again, we've got some big tarnishing, but that's not corrosion, that's just tarnishing. Give it a quick wipe down anyway. Okay. Reflow a bunch of these. I do have a fan when I need it, but for a couple of touch-ups, I don't feel the need most of the time. Although I have to admit, because these boards, just for reasons unknown to me, have an abominable smell to them, it would be nice. I am going to turn on the room fan though, because that would be wise right now. Ugh. God, what is it? What's that smell? Okay, the fan is now running. Roaches? No idea. Cockroaches aren't really a thing in the UK that I'm aware of, or I've never encountered them. So I don't really know what to expect. Right, I'm just going to reflow all of the gnarly looking joins. Then I think we can try and power this one up in a minute and just see what works. I'm spending time on this, but I'll bet money that this... Actually, why am I spending time on this one? This is the one with the exploded TP4056. What am I doing? Okay, hold on. I'm ripping this thing off. I'm going to do the no hot air method for this one, just because hot air didn't work very well on the last one. I did, when I was super into the slime DIY scene, I did actually develop tricks for removing these without hot air and without advanced tools, because lots of people were DIYing and they didn't have access to hot air or hot plates and stuff. So I did actually test doing it without extra tools and found that you can do it just by stepping them off. I'm just slowly forcing a prying tool underneath and just slowly lifting it. Blimey, a frying sound from underneath. That's probably just alcohol where I drowned everything. Man, what's holding this guy up now? That should have come off by now. Mega out of practice with these. did have this down to an art at one point. The heck is holding on? Ah, still just too many solder blobs. Oh my god, there we go. Good grief. Yeah. Right, be gone. Clean up the board. Yeah, liquid has been under this one. You can see tide marks there. The cleaning fluids I'm using don't leave tide marks, so yeah. Again, it's liquid damage. Wick. Try heating it from below. Yeah, I think that was one of the. I think that was the better hot air method actually. So I'm going to use that on the next one because that prying method that I just used did not work very well. It did get it off the board, but like, yeah, that wasn't great. I think hot air from below. I agree with that method. That's definitely the way forward. Oh, it's the end of the. It's the end of the wick. Okay. Let clean up. Mr. Wick. Is that a Joey Does Tech joke? John Wick. Am I imagining that? I'm sure I've heard that one. Hope the glass cleaner is an ammonia-free version. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Most of them are just a little bit of dish soap and vinegar and water. I think the only ammonia one that I'm aware of is Windex. But we don't have Windex in the UK. All right, there we go. That is nicely cleaned up. I'm just giving that a wipe around the bottom. Let's power this one up and see if the micro works. And more importantly, if the IMU works. John Wick marries Aeon Flux and gets hyphenated. John Wick Flux. Those bottom bits are a bit sketchy, but don't care about that. Right, let's see if this thing works. Uzb. Huh. Okay, it's responding. Firmware. Oh yeah, there we go, yeah. Select serial device, go. We do have Windex, it's cheaper than White Lightning. Oh no. Oh. Could not upload the firmware. Ooh. Retry. Syncing the MCU. Could not upload the firmware. Okay, I think this one might be toast, guys. Oh, that USB port is kind of grot. I'm going to clean that out. Reflow it, maybe. Also, though, like, this is a D1 Mini. It costs about £2. So, yeah, like, if there's any doubts about whether it works or not, I'm just like, who cares? Just replace it. Most of the value of these trackers is the assembly. Let's try that again. Is it even responding? Hold on. I think it's kill. Yeah, we've had some dings, but it's not reliable. All right, connect to Wi-Fi. No, could not get logs from the tracker. No, I'm calling it. That one's toast. Okay. Right, so I think what we're gonna do. So I could remove the micro and we could put a new micro on it, but because the board has been hit as well, and I'm 99% certain I have more boards, my inclination is to recover the only bit that I actually care about, which is the IMU. So I think I might just desolder the IMU and just be like, okay, we've recovered the valuable bits from this, the rest of it is done. So yeah, we could reflow it, but again, also just, you know, the board is damaged and stuff like that. I'm just like, are we really going to try and save this? I don't think it's worth it. Especially because also, like, I need this to work, so... Unfortunately, we can't ultrasonic them. If you ultrasonic the IMU, you'll kill the IMU. Basically, I have not put it to the test. However, according to other people, these things will not survive the ultrasonic because it's a this is a MEMS chip, microelectronic mechanism. Sorry, micro electromechanical system. And yeah, ultrasonic will just wreck it, basically. So yeah. Okay, let's take that off. I will heat from below for this one. Because, yeah, Selfman, you're absolutely right with that. That was the trick for these, is to heat from underneath. So, let's gear up for that. Oh, yeah, we got corrosion under there. I'm so annoyed I forgot my spare parts because in my spare parts drawer for slimes, I've got a test jig, which is basically just the test jig is basically just a breadboard. with a microcontroller set up on it, so I can just put the IMU on there, power it up, and see if it works. It would be nice to know if this guy works or not. But yeah. Because there is some corrosion on the bottom of that. I'll clean up the pads on it for good measure. But you can see where we've had corrosion underneath the IMU there. I'm pretty certain that that first pin is a power pin. So, yeah. Okay, right, that one's kill. Am I keeping any of this? No. That can just go in the bin pile. The bin pile will go into a scrap box where I keep it for, like, you know, I keep them on hand in case I will need to replace, like, you know, single resistors or something like that. Because, well, for the most part, yeah, you just replace the whole module. But now and then, like, if there's just, like, a single tiny part that's broken, it's a case of, okay, no, you could just replace that resistor. That's 100% doable. All right, that's the big wick. Where's my new small wick? There it is. I'm just going to clean up the solder off of this. Make it ready for reuse. Pretend you didn't see that. Come on, there we go. I don't need to clear the holes, but I like to clear the holes because it looks tidy. Ah, that'll do. It's going to get surface mounted again anyway, so it doesn't matter if the holes are clear. Tasty flux. At least blow the fumes away. So I'm not sitting here inhaling. I actually hold my breath while I'm soldering. And the thing is, occasionally I'll very gently blow while I'm soldering. But the funny thing is when I do that, people go, oh, you shouldn't blow on it. You're introducing oxygen, which is making a bad join. So I actually kind of can't win. The winning move is to actually have an extractor, which I really should do, but I don't solder all day every day, so fine. And I'm in a ventilated room, and whatever. All right. Try lasagna. Si, do you not like lasagna? What's your beef with lasagna? Pun fully intended. You need Black Horse Flux. What's Black Horse Flux? Is that like smokeless or something? Okay, right. That should be a perfectly serviceable IMU. These are BMI 270s, for anyone who cares. I'll show you under the microscope. Boop. Microscope. Oh, HDMI capture, that's the one I need. Oh, I lie. I thought the chip actually had BMI 270 written on it, but it doesn't. But yeah, these are BMI 270s. So that chip is the BMI 270 chip, which is a 6-axis accelerometer, and the rest of it is a voltage regulator and just supporting pull up and pull down resistors for I2C communications. So that's it, basically. But this particular breakout board design, The breakout board design is based on the old BMI 160. And so these are, but the issue is it's very difficult to find them reliably. If you find IMUs like this on like AliExpress or eBay, there is like a 70% probability that they are fakes, or otherwise not what they say they are. So this is the reason why these are so difficult to find. It's not that it's impossible to find IMUs, it's just extremely difficult to find small, ready-to-use IMUs from reliable suppliers. That's the tricky bit. So yeah, that's why I care about the IMU on these. That's the bit that I actually want to save, because if I have these, I can just build a new tracker. Alright, let's have a look at this guy. What's your story? I've already removed the TP4056 from this. Does this work? Let's see. Lasagna's fine, it's just not your jam. Fair. Black Horse Flux is something Nathan from Parts People uses. I see. It's a more natural flux. Huh. Alright, yep. Duly noted. Oh yeah, Unlogic asks, how much power does your soldering iron have? I've got an old 60 watt and a lot of problems desoldering. Yeah, I'm running a 90 watt soldering iron. So yeah, when it comes to desoldering, desoldering with wick is quite difficult. Wick takes up a lot of heat. So yeah, I've got a 90 watt soldering iron, and these are JBC tips. So that's the other thing that makes a difference as well. Has that cooled down? Yes, it has. Yeah, these are genuine JBC tips. And these things are worth every penny. If you're getting into soldering iron and you need a good iron, getting any kind of iron that takes JBC style cartridges like this is a must-have. You can buy a cheap iron. So this is one of the Aixon irons. But you buy the cheap one that has the same cartridge type, and then you put genuine JBC tips in it, and you can have a 90 watt or higher iron that will punch way above its weight for a very decent sum of money. So yeah, and the other advantage is that the JBC style cartridges, you're very close to the action here. As you can see, the operating range is there, as opposed to other irons like, where's a here's a TS100 style iron, and as you can see, the operating range for this one is miles away by comparison. So yeah, so that makes a big difference. So yeah, it also just depends on what soldering iron you've got. You say you've got a 60 watt soldering iron. Like, what brand is it? What kind of tip is it using as well? Because if you've got a really crap iron, then yeah, you're just always going to be fighting it. Pinesil, I think the Pinesil is obsolete by modern standards. It's all about the JBC tips now. However, the Pinesil is still a good iron. I wouldn't recommend it these days, but if you said I'm using a Pinesil, I'd be like, that's fine, you know. And yeah, the Aixon T3A is 200 watts. That's assuming that the tip can do that. I don't know what the answer there is. Right, let's see if this thing works. Pinesil is an entry level. I'd agree with that, but that much being said, Pienov, been using a Pinesil for years. Hi, if you're still in the chat. But that's one thing I always tell people. When people rubbish the Pinesil, I'm just like, Pienov uses one. Make of that what you will. You know. Okay, let's see. What's this? Right, this is functional. I think we've already tested this one. This just needs a new TP4056 and we're done. That seems to work pretty reliably. I can't remember if I've firmware flashed this one, so I'm going to flash it. It doesn't hurt just to do it again anyway. I have to admit, I complained about using the interface for this because I've got to go through that again, but the actual flash process is way faster. In the old days with the web flasher, it took it ages to build the firmware because it was doing it in the browser. It's a good entry level. Yeah, I agree. I used a Pinesil for years as well. The main reason why I dropped a Pinesil is if you try and use a 60 watt iron on an Xbox or a PlayStation, you will have a very bad time. It just doesn't work. You cannot work on consoles with a 60-watt iron. They're too heavy. How much are the JVC tips? They're about £50 a shot, or I can't remember if it was £50 or $50. I think they were $50, $45, something like that. So like they're expensive, like $45. That's half the cost of my soldering station, which was about $100. But they're worth every penny. So yeah, I have two of them. I've got a KU and I've got a J-tip. So yeah. Okay, firmware update complete. Cool. That's good to go. Right, next one. This guy. I think this one was the worst of the batch. So, once again, the TP4056 is wrecked. I'm going to give this some brushy and then just power it on and see if it functions. But yeah, this one has been hit by a bottle of piss. Wow. Oh, that's pretty gnarly there. Is that trace just gone? Hi, Shinebright. Shinebright designed this board. Shinebright is very cool. Works for the Slime Company now. Oh, there's still copper there. This is the problem, though. Like, am I going to try and save this one, or am I just going to replace the PCB? You know, like, we've burnt up the solder mask there. Are we going to reuse this, or are we going to replace the PCB? So yeah. Well, yeah. Will you make new cases? I'm probably going to make new cases. Yeah, because some of them look okay, but also for the sake of just 3D printed cases, I'll just print new cases. You know, why mess around? Yeah, easy replace. Yeah, exactly. Let's see if it works just for funsies, but otherwise, yeah. I think... Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad, man. Hold on to your lunches. I want to see into that port. Ah! It's so bad. There's no planet where this was manufacturing defect. No shot. Absolutely no world where this just spontaneously combusted. Should definitely charge for some of this. We'll see. We'll see. I'll have a look. I need to have a look through my spares box and see what I've got first. But yeah, I'm gonna vom. Wouldn't plug in that. I'm gonna brush it down first. Hold on. Let's come off of the microscope. All right. Let's start out with the glass cleaner. Drown. Die. Scrub away the sins. Scrub away all of the sin. Should have removed the wires first. I'm just going to fatigue that off. Who cares? Okay. Now drink away the tears. Alcohol. Glass cleaner is non-conductive as well. It doesn't evaporate very quickly, so it's not ideal, but I can just drown it in glass cleaner and it'll be fine. The glass cleaner will move, like, grime, and the alcohol will get rid of, like, flux residue and stuff like that. It very much depends on what kind of dirt it is as to which you want to use. And when I have something that is mega grotty like this, I'll use a combo. Right, this was the TP4056 with a missing capacitor on it. That capacitor is for stability. So yeah, like to be honest, this is an autopsy. We're going to just take the IMU off and just replace the board, but whatever. Let's just see if it works. Man, this thing must have had a hard short on it that just burnt out the solder mask. I don't know how the battery protection didn't save it. No capacitor, no shorted capacitor. Okay, right. You're not wrong, but no. You're technically not wrong, but please replace shorted capacitors, people. They're there for a reason. Oh, I can still smell it. I don't know what it is. What happened to these things? What happened? What did you see? Alright. I'm going to plug it in. So, what happens if we plug in the charger board? Oh, we're just missing pins on this thing now. Whatever. Right, the answer to that is no. Does the micro work? Okay. Micro sounds healthy. Let's try and flash it. Syncing with the MCU. The desk mat that smells bad now? Yeah, kind of. To be honest, this desk mat is super grotty and I'm going to replace it soon. I've actually ordered some new desk mats on my most recent AliExpress order. Yeah, there's going to be a new desk mat as soon as that shows up. So, okay. Right. Firmware update was complete, so that sounds promising. Okay, and our survey says yes. And checking for drift. It's a little bit drifty, but also it's cold. It should settle once it's warmed up, so it hasn't been calibrated or anything, so okay. Right. The micro works. And the IMU works. I'll take both of them off. I'll probably replace the micro anyway, but, you know, I could keep it as a spare. And the switch I don't care about, and the charger board I don't care about. And the resistor, the other components on these, the resistor is battery sense, so this is a 180k resistor. It connects to the battery and then goes back to the microcontroller, and it allows the microcontroller to just read the battery voltage as a very rudimentary battery charge level indicator. And those are two diodes. These are reverse protection. These diodes ensure that if you plug a USB cable directly into the micro, it cannot reverse charge the battery. So that's why those guys are there. But obviously, these things are like a penny, so we don't care about those either. But I'll recover the microcontroller and I'll recover the IMU. Those are the expensive parts. Try the Adamant IT desk mat. I kind of want to, but also I don't want to wreck one. I actually haven't bought one of those yet myself. I need to get a sample for myself. But I almost don't want to use one because this desk mat just always gets wrecked. I don't want to have a desk mat that I care about. Right. Hot air time. Alright, tip now to buy Graham some gloves and another bottle of cleaner. I'm not a gloves user. I just wash my hands when I'm done. I used to be really squeamish about getting my hands dirty when I was a kid. As a grown-up, I just accept it and I'll just wash my hands when I'm done. I like the 99% discount AliExpress ones. Yeah, that's what I've just ordered. Mount upside down, heat from the top. The reason why I'm not doing that is sometimes the components on the module will start flowing and the components will fall off of the module. Right, I am you. You can mute the hot air with OBS. Yeah, that's effort. I think I've got a, I think I do have... I've got basic noise filtering on. I can turn the noise filtering up, but it's a bit weird when I do that. At the moment, you guys still hear some desk noises and the noise of the tools. If I turn the noise filtering on to high level, it will cut all of that, but then it will just be my voice in the void, and it's weird. As an adult, I can't accept having my hands dirty. Yeah, that's fine. It's understandable. Not knocking anyone who's squeamish about that. It's just why I don't wear gloves. Lots of people say, oh, why don't you wear nitrile gloves and stuff? And I'm like, I just wash my hands afterwards. This guy doesn't want to budge. I might take the nozzle off in a moment. We're almost there. Hang on a sec. I'm going to pry it off. This guy's a bit stuck down. Alright, that's fine. Ugh. The smell. Right. Are you okay? Probably. Ah, yeah, look at that. Liquid damage. Nah, that's getting replaced. Out of curiosity, did it just survive that hot air blast? It probably did. This will get to... right. Close. This will connect to Wi-Fi. So you can see up the top here, it's connected to Wi-Fi. However, there's no movement because it's not connected to an IMU anymore. This will report an error state in a moment. Because it's saying OK because the tracker is connected, but in a sec it'll go, hold on a sec, the IMU isn't working. Or not. Okay. Fine, don't. Yeah, this thing works just fine, but it's kind of grot. I guess I'll keep it as a spare. But yeah, I don't think I'll put this back on a tracker. It's fine until you accidentally touch your face. I mean, you could touch your face with gloves on. You'd still have to take off the gloves before you touch your face as well. So, you know. You enjoy the airflow noise? Yeah, I guess. Change the power steering fluid. Oh, okay. I started reading that and I was like, oh. Okay, right. That's going in the bin. Well, again, going on the spares pile. I'm going to give that a quick wipe down just so it's a bit less horrid. Wow. Okay. Window and glass it is. Yeah, that's better. Window and glass doesn't move the flux, but it removes all of the slime. And then the alcohol will actually go at the flux. For the most part, anyway. Okay, that'll do. Cool. At least that's a little bit less horrid to have on my spares pile now. Le Bamère. Okay, right. I'm going to clean up this IMU as well. That's going onto the bin pile. That's going onto the bin pile. Yeah, super annoyed that I forgot the spare parts because it means I can't put the other ones back together. So that's kind of... I'm going to clean this up and then we're basically done with these for now. There's not really much else that's worth me doing with them. Because, yeah, I need the spare parts before... And also I need to print new cases and stuff like that. And I would start printing cases, but that'll take... The cases take hours to print, so that's not worth doing either. Let's tidy that up. What can you do in Shaftesbury? Not a lot, to be honest. I like the town of Shaftesbury. It's very pretty, but there's not a lot to do. I should have used the big wick for this. There we go. I did order a wide wick specifically for when doing jobs like this, and I've just completely forgotten to use it. And I've used the thin wick, which I just went through like 3 inches of it. Isn't the pub next door? Yeah, we got plenty of pubs around here. We are not short of pubs. There we go. That's that guy cleaned up. Oh. It's cleaned up on the bottom. The top even. Alright. That's enough of that. Good. Okay, right. Well, that's that set of slime trackers. So, broadly speaking, let's see what we ended up with. We've got 5 working ones. Just need new cases and batteries because I think all of the batteries were sus. So we just replace all of the batteries just out of hand. You know, like, who knows? The customer said that batteries were smoking and stuff like that. Based on the conditions of these, I don't know what to believe at this point. However, for safety's sake, I just have to assume that the batteries were all crap. So we've got 5 that need new batteries. We've got... What's your story? Oh, that's my test one. That's my one. 5 need new batteries. This needs a new charge module. And then we've got 2 total losses that need new everything. But at least the IMUs work because these are the bits that I can't easily re-find. So yeah. Burnt chip did smoke. Yeah, that's true. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why the battery overcurrent protection didn't kick in. I'm just going to check if I've got a battery, just as an example. Yeah, I do. Here's an example battery that I use. So this is a 503759. Claims to be 1300 milliamp hour, probably more like 1200. So this is an example. Oh, it's got the wrong connector on it for these. Okay, yeah, I can't plug it in because this particular one has the wrong connector on it. Have I got one with a big connector on it? Oh yeah, no, I've got another one here. Sorry for the crinkling. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So this one, 503759, 1200 milliamp hours. So that one... Plug that in, turn that on, and we've got a light. So yeah, so as you can see, these do have a protection circuit in. So this also has protection circuits, but even if this guy fails, the battery itself has a protection board on it. So I don't know how we had such catastrophic failures, but then like, I don't know, maybe whatever short circuits we had were still within the specification of the protection board. You know, maybe this protection board doesn't cut out until like 3 amps or something like that. And like 3 amps would definitely explode one of these, I would imagine. But possibly wasn't enough to trigger the battery protection. So yeah, I don't know. There's a big cell for a small device. Yeah, runtime. These things are not particularly power efficient, which is where small slimes come in. They pull about they pull about 100 milliamps. So with a 1200 milliamp hour battery, you're aiming for about 10 hours runtime or so. And that's generally good and 10 hours runtime is good enough for a couple of sessions between charges or like 2 long sessions. So yeah. Saltwater meltdown? No idea. No idea. Anyway. That's me done with those. I've got to get my spare parts and bring those in. 10 hours of VR is going to be exhausting. But yeah, I've never done that long a time before. I've done 10 hours of VR in one day before. When I was last time I went to Furality, which is a VR furry convention. That is like, you know, 3 to 4 days. And the idea is you just spend the entire day in VR. But like I was taking breaks, so I would be on for, you know, 3 or 4 hours. Then I would come out, have food, you know, have drink, touch grass, and then back on for another 5 hours. So I would definitely have spent like 10 hours in a day in VR doing that. And at that point, I was extremely happy to have the long run time of these. Because my other set of trackers have hot swappable batteries, but the batteries are only good for about 4 or 5 hours at a time. When's the Linux video getting out, Graham? It's high on my list of priorities right now. It's currently in editing hell because I need to get loads of B-roll footage for it. And the B-roll footage is soul-crushingly boring to get. So, yeah. I'm going to be working on that this weekend, though. I really want to get that out the door before it goes stale and I get bored of it. So, yeah. You did 2 times Bobo and flat Quest 3 batteries on Arizona Sunshine 2. I recognize some of those words. Last time I went to my living room. Yeah, a VR convention was a very interesting experience. That's why I wanted to do it. Because I was just like, how do you do a convention where you just stay in your living room? But the thing is that if you treat it like it's a real convention and you pretend that you're at a thing, you say, right, we're staying in VR. And like, even if like none of your friends are around at the time, you're like, okay, let's go and find something to do. At any given time, there are multiple events happening. Let's go and find somewhere interesting. And like the Ferality as an event, they had made several custom worlds. So even if you weren't interested in any of the panels that were happening at the time, they had made these fantastic worlds to go and look around and explore. And even if you were just going there to hang out and look at other people and just say hi to people, that's what you do at a real convention. You walk around the event. If there's nothing on, you just walk around the event and just take in the atmosphere. And it was actually very good. Were you really there? Well, that's the thing. Technically, no. But if you suspend your disbelief, you would be surprised how immersive it can be. You do have to suspend your disbelief. But like Ferality last year, their theme was it was Ferality Somna, and it was a dream type thing. And the vendor world, where you basically just have a virtual marketplace where there's basically just adverts for artists and stuff like that. And a lot of the time when you go there, a couple of the stalls, the artist who has taken out the advert will be hanging around there talking to people and saying, yeah, look at my art. This is my art. Do you want a commission? And stuff like that. So the vendor world, the first time you go there, they have an intro sequence where you arrive in this train station, and it's like the start of Spirited Away. You start at this strange train station, you get on a train, and this train goes down into a black tunnel. And so it goes down, and like if you do it with some friends, you arrive with some friends, you get on the train together, you go into a black tunnel, and then it comes out, and this train is just going just through a sky of clouds, and it is just like you have gone into a Studio Ghibli movie. And all your friends are being like, wow, look at that and stuff, and you're experiencing it with your friends, and it genuinely is a magical experience. And then you arrive, you see the island coming up, and the train pulls up at the island, and you get off, and there's all these people there, and the marketplaces and stuff. And if you treat it like a real thing, it's genuinely a fantastic experience. So obviously it's not for everyone. This has to be something you're interested in, but I think it's very interesting to approach it as I'm going to pretend it's real and see what kind of experience I have. And if you do that, if you suspend your disbelief, you can have a genuinely amazing time. So yeah. You need a new VR headset. Your son lost your Pico 4. Any recommendations, or is it just now Meta Quest 3? Man, I was talking to someone last night about this. Right now, it's really difficult to recommend anything other than a Quest 3 because the price and the spec and the support is where it's at. You know, if you buy a Quest 3, there's all the accessories available for it and all the support is there for it. But also, we all know that Meta have just completely clocked out of VR. They're shutting down all of their VR departments. Everything is just going on to extended support now. And at some point, I know that they're just going to brick all the old headsets. And also just Meta as a company are just terrible. So if you pretend that it's not Meta, the Quest 3 would be my recommendation. It's the only one that makes sense. But because it's Meta, it's really hard to recommend it. So, yeah. The new setup is disgusting. Oh, is it really? I haven't tried it in a while because I've had my Quest 3 for like a couple of years now. So, I don't know, man. So, yeah. But also, at some point, I really want to try a Pico 4 and just see what the experience is like. Also, though, like a lot of people right now, they're just waiting for the Steam frame. But the problem with the Steam frame is I think it's going to be at least $800. And spec for spec, it's not that different from a Quest 3. And I know it's got the super high speed, ultra low latency wireless HDMI, which the Quest 3 doesn't. But the Quest 3, unless you're playing extremely high level Beat Saber, the latency doesn't matter. Take it from me, I use a Quest 3 wirelessly. You don't notice 40 milliseconds. You really don't. You just don't. Unless you're playing extremely high level Beat Saber, you just don't. Just Wi-Fi is fine. So the Steam frame, I think it's going to be $800 at least, and that's a really hard pill to swallow when the Quest 3 is like $500 or whatever, you know. So yeah. That much being said, I really want a Steam frame, and when it comes out, If it's like $600, pretty good chance I'll buy one. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see. You had your one running offline. You went online by mistake and it wanted phone and facial verification. Oh, that's rough. Yeah. I have mine connected to a burner account, but it's funny you should say that, TFT, because I've been seriously considering looking into what the jailbreak options are for the Quest 3. Because, like I say, I'm tacitly aware that Meta will just alter the deal at any given time. And I kind of want to jailbreak mine and just take it offline. And just say, you run virtual desktop now. That's it. That's all you do. You switch on, you run virtual desktop, you connect to SteamVR. So yeah. Sony did the same for PSVR. The PSVR 2 was actually a good headset. Their mistake was not making it PC compatible from the start. If they'd made the PSVR 2 100% PC compatible for all of its features, it would have sold. I know it's a tethered headset and no one wants a tether, but tethers are okay, man. You know, I was using a tethered headset for ages and it's okay. Don't get me wrong, wireless is great, but tethers, it's not that bad. And considering the PSVR 2 has OLED and foveated rendering and stuff like that, and it was like $400 or something like that. It was fine. They dropped. The problem is that they just thought Sony's mistake is that they thought people with PlayStations were going to use VR. VR is just such a niche field, man. You're not going to get normies into VR. It's not going to happen. The only people who care about VR are furries and anime nerds. It's the only people who care about VR. Frame's going to be $750. Is that confirmed? Oh, that's your guesses. Okay, yeah. Do I use Facebook for business? No. I've all but abandoned the Adamant IT Facebook page. I haven't looked at it or touched it in years now. All of my personal Facebook accounts are set to private. And as I say, I use a burner account for my Quest. My Quest uses a burner account that has like just a fake profile picture on it and stuff. Still got your PSVR 2 with the PC adapter. It's gotten pretty good, minus the eye tracking. That's alright, yeah. Valve making noises about rising prices due to RAM storage. Frame will be closer to $1,000. We'll see, I guess, yeah. We can but hope. Frame has got lots of memory. I think it'll work out. Like the first round, they've already bought the equipment. The first manufacturing cycle, Valve would have already bought all of their memory and storage like over a year ago, because manufacturing takes years. The second wave is the questionable one, and I have a suspicion that the market will probably have fixed itself by the time that comes around. That's what I'm hoping anyway. I have hope. I think we can outlast this. And I think the frame is going to have a lot of staying power, because the specs of the frame are in a pretty good sweet spot. Like there are other headsets that have higher specification than the frame, but those are kind of specialists. The headsets that have higher specs are things like the Big Screen Beyond and stuff. And when you get onto headsets like that, they're extremely difficult to drive. You have to be extremely dedicated to use a headset like the Big Screen Beyond, because you need a top-of-the-line graphics card to drive it, and you need all the lighthouses and stuff like that. Whereas the Steam frame, that lies in a really happy medium where it's good enough to be good, but it's easy enough to be usable, you know. I think they've got it spot on. Stargate is filming in the UK. They might need furlings. I have not seen any Stargate, so I don't know what furlings are. Sorry. 50, 80 and up. Yeah, probably. especially if you're playing VR chat anyway, but because VR chat is just a fight you don't win. I love the idea of the big screen beyond, but I think an actual good rig for it is just horrifyingly expensive. Okay. All right. Any other questions, any other topics? Otherwise, we're only at the 2-hour marker, but I've kind of done what I came here to do, and I genuinely don't have any other content lined up. So if you guys want to like chat about stuff, I'm open to ideas. But other than that, we're kind of just chatting right now, if I'm honest. Am I planning to get a MacBook Neo? No, I don't need one. I don't need one. I would love to take a look at one, but I don't need one. And I think they're going to go out of stock pretty quick, is the vibe. So yeah, best used GPU for £100. Ugh. I don't think there's a viable one. My minimum viable for GPUs is a 3060 12 gig. And those are £200. I think if you go below the 3060 12 gig, it's just not really viable for a good user experience. You basically have a GPU that is kind of dead on arrival, you know. Like, if you go below a 3060 12 gig, you're already dealing with a GPU where any user is going to be like, I want something faster. So, yeah. 1080 Ti, that's the equivalent of a 3060 12 gig. And I think you can find those for like, 160, 170 pounds. But the problem there is that you're now dealing with a graphics card that is no longer on currently supported drivers. So now you're buying a graphics card that requires legacy drivers. Are you sure? Are you sure? The 1080 Ti is in that weird spot where it will throw hands with a 3060 12 gig. But also, that's a card that is just physically old. So you're really up against the wall for likelihood of failure and stuff like that. So it's just like, yes, you can find one, and it is probably the best bang for buck, but it's a really big roll of the dice. That's a really dangerous dice roll on that. So yeah. It's kneecapped with no RTX cores. That's kind of true, yeah. Like, you're not really going to do ray tracing on a 3060, but it does actually have the cores, so it will support the game. You can run Indiana Jones on a 3060, So yeah. Furlings were one of the main 4 races in the Stargate universe. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, good card but outdated tech. That's the problem. For people who still have a 1080 Ti, I'm just like, yeah, fine. It's the GOAT. It's astonishing how well that card has held up. Should you buy one in the year 2026? No. Please do not buy a 1080 Ti in the year 2026. 6600 XT, again, I think it's too slow. You're going to buy it and just immediately want more power. Yeah. Like I said, the 6700 XT or the 6750 XT is the minimum viable from AMD. I think it's still viable. That's a 12 gig card, isn't it? The 6700 XT. So yeah. But I'd almost say I think a 3060 12 gig is about the same price, and you get like functional ray tracing there. So yeah. For video editing, I mean, yeah, like if you're not gaming, then anything will do. But also, if you're not gaming, then just buy a CPU with integrated graphics. What about Secure Boot? I mean, you've got to go back miles before Secure Boot comes a problem. So yeah, not really relevant. Any modern graphics card from like Maxwell onwards, so like GTX 900 series onwards is UEFI. So yeah, Secure Boot's a non-issue. Yeah. So yeah. GOP mod VBIOS. Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to mod them. You're going to have to go to completely irrelevant stuff before that turns into a problem. Right. Cool. Right, I'm going to go home. And I'm going to carry on editing videos. So yeah, I've got to work on the Linux video. I've also got to start editing the next BIOS video. I've got some doubts about that one, but it's still kind of interesting. I need to actually do brainstorming on the BIOS guide video for what other objectives I actually need to achieve. But they'll be coming back. So, right. I've enjoyed this stream in Slime. I have as well. Yeah, I'm annoyed that I didn't have spare parts to actually get these actually fixed, but at least we've diagnosed them all and we figured out what's going on. And also, I feel slightly better knowing that, yeah, not going to lie, I'm blaming the client for this. Some of those were just in such a state that I'm just like, nah, chief, that's not manufacturing defect. Something terrible happened to these things. All right, thank you all for tuning in. I will be live on Twitch tomorrow. I'm playing Resident Evil 1, the first one. So yeah, if you want to hear more of my dumb voice, 7 PM UK time tomorrow on Twitch. Link is in the chat. Thank you very much, Sai. Then I will be back next week with Caradog as well. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all soon. Bye, folks. See you all soon. Toodles. Oh, hang on a sec. I went to click stop streaming and I'm like, no, I've got to go. I've got to find YouTube. Bye.